What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Bricks and Toys. And in today's video, we're going to replace a segment talking about the Neuschwanstein Castle, and we're going to talk about myself and how I am really suffering from some, I don't know what the hell is going on with me. And the reason for that is because I'm out of time. Like, I am dead ass, as the Gen Zs say, out of time. And to start backing this train up into what I originally said when I started this video, the reason that I'm out of time is because this is a Lego architecture build, and if you guys have never done those, they're a very detailed build of one by one elements, whether they're the old style or whether it's the larger one by one elements to the new style of where it's one by one elements, mostly the thin plates, which is like 1/3 of a Lego brick. These things are extremely detailed and they're very fine pieces, which take a lot of fine time. And I just found out, maybe yesterday or the day before yesterday, that my mom is coming into town potentially 2 weeks into December. And it's at that point we plan on exchanging Christmas gifts, doing a little bit of ho 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 and all that BS, and sending her back to Arizona. While she's here, I would like to gift her the gift of the Neuschwanstein Castle, a bouquet of pink roses, and Gizmo from Gremlins. That is the idea. The thing is, I'm filming this the day before December actually starts, and I did tell you guys that in the month of November, I'm going to take some time off. And if things go to plan today, I will have released the third and final video of the month of November. And that means I've only done 3 videos in November. And I think my lowest I've ever done for the channel per month is around 10 or 12 videos. I've never stooped to taking time off to where I've only given you guys 2 or 3 videos in a month. And the bad thing about that is I've gotten really comfortable with my job in the meantime, which was the whole point of this, was to try to focus my energy and my stress on my job and get comfortable with it and take that time from Lego. And that's what I've done. The only thing is, I've gotten a little too comfortable. Comfortable to the point of where I'm wondering the future of this channel. And there's a lot of things that I haven't even spoke of to my nearest family, like my wife and stuff, that I'm really starting to consider with this channel. And I don't know if it's just the stress of my overall bill situation, my lack of money, or what, but I'm going through it at the moment. And the last thing I really think about myself doing is building a Lego set, let alone a big ass one. And things are relatively tough. My heart is in Lego, but is my heart in Lego YouTube? I don't really know. But the best thing to do in times of uncertainty is don't lean into the negative, lean into the positive. When I started my new job, I really felt like, you know what? I think I can quit this. But then I told myself, you remember what the boomers used to say? The boomers always used to say, give it 2 weeks. And you know what? I gave my job 2 weeks, and I didn't even need that 2 weeks to find my certainty with my new job. And I fell in love with what I do, even though I can't stay there permanently. I have to start trying to get another job at the beginning of 2026, which sucks because I like delivering parts to stores. It keeps me away from customers, which can be a little daunting at times, and I still make a check. The only problem is the paycheck that I make, I don't ever see. I drive all day, 40 hours a week, and then at the end of 80 hours, you get a paycheck and it's gone. If you guys ever watched South Park and you guys ever seen that episode of, and it's gone. Yeah, that's what life is like at the moment. So I'm enjoying my job. I'm enjoying just focusing my stress on that and my time. But there's still a YouTube channel here that I don't know the future of, guys. I really don't. And the biggest reason of it is it's not because of views and money and all of that. It's just trying to figure out in a time of uncertainty what I really, really want to do. And there was once upon a time when all I wanted to do was to run this Lego YouTube channel. But with the recent comments and things that I've opened up to on the channel, it just seems to be second guessing things of like, can I really fill this space? Am I the person for the job? Or have I been wasting my time for 3 years on this? And I just have to work through these insecurities and come up with my answer. There's been many times where I've came close to throwing in the towel like a year ago, and well, we're here again. Hopefully I figure out the answer by the time I'm done building the Neuschwanstein castle. Oh boy. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't know jack squat about the Neuschwanstein Castle. I originally called it the Neuschwanstein, and a really cool viewer of my channel, he corrected me and he said it's the Neuschwanstein, which I hope is still correct. If not, I'm making myself a bigger dumbass. But I think that this is a beautiful Lego set. It does have the retail price of $279.99, so basically $280 here in the US. As far as Lego architecture goes, I mean, they did a really cool job with this one. So let's kick off this review with the box as traditional, and it's our normal 18 and older style packaging, black box, greeble bottom. On the bottom there it says Lego, below that architecture. We do have our numbers down here telling us 18 and older, set number 21063 with 3,455 pieces, and that's where I feel like I am in trouble. Because I'm so distracted with work, it has taken me a week just to build 1,000 pieces for our last YouTube video we did. What the hell is it going to take out of me to get 3,000 plus done in 2 weeks' time with 2 other builds right there that are all gifts to be going out this season? But let's try to get this done on time because it 'tis the season. Crank the Mariah Carey. All I want for Christmas is to get this set done and given to my mom, guys. Looking at the set on the box, it just looks beautiful. We got what looks to be some pine trees with the upside down plant elements. We got these little blossoms of autumn trees with the 1x1 flower studs. Then we move up into the castle. We have spires, we have towers. It looks like we have printed elements with the windows, and they're all 1x1 tile type looking plates. So I'm going to guess there's going to be a lot of like plate on snot techniques to get this done. But overall, just looks great. Up here at the top, we do have the Neuschwanstein Castle logo, and it is part of Bavaria, Germany. Besides it being in Germany, that's the only thing that I really know about the Neuschwanstein Castle, other than I did not know how to pronounce its name. My main heritage is from Germany, and I just love the look of this castle, and maybe there's a connection there. Going to the side of the box, we just have the name of the set in a different language, the Lego logo, and we do have our country of origin and our do not eat it right down here. Moving on to this side of the box, we got a front shot of the castle where we can see a different type of printed brick and a different type of build strategy than the side with this red and this door entryway or whatever it is. I am hoping as I build this set, there is information about it in the instruction booklet, as Lego sometimes does, used to always do, but it's getting odder now to find that, and that's how I can educate myself for the latter half of this video. Going to the top of the box, we have another side profile of the set, and we have the set name in what looks to be maybe French because it says Chateau de Neuschwanstein. So we're trying to mix German with French with that one. Pretty interesting. And then we go to the bottom of the box where we see our Lego.com app information, recycling information, some legal eagles, and a barcode. And then, last but not least, of going over the box is the back of the box. And we can see now that there is actually tree options. We can actually switch out those autumn-looking trees for just pure green trees using the same stud element, just in a different color. Other than that, the castle looks the same as it does on the front. And then we do have a picture of the actual castle in Germany, which just looks phenomenal. Right below that, we do have the set dimensions. That looks to be 12 inches high, so not too bad, and about 18 inches in width, so probably about the size of this box. And then we have a next picture of a top down of the castle where we can see what looks to be a nice little walkway. Then we have another picture of the castle from the other side than this side right here. And then we can see in this last picture that you can build 2 different versions of the castle. And looking at these pictures, I think it's just the trees alone. And it does say models cannot be built simultaneously. So basically, you can't have both sets of trees at the same time, maybe because it utilizes the same tree stump and you just have leftover studs or something with the set. So I will probably do like what I did with my Lego tree house and do a mixture of green and autumn trees, so it's not exactly fall, not exactly summer, but maybe somewhere in between in a fictional world. So now guys, we've gone over our box. Thing looks amazing. Let's cut open this box and let's see what we have in terms of this 3,000 piece build that I gotta get done for Christmas. It just seems like there's no time between getting off work and going to bed, and that's why I just can't get anything built while I work during the week. So this next week is going to be quite interesting because I'm gonna have to find the time. Now, finding our 2 pieces of tape are gonna be right here, 1 and 2. And our box is open. Now let's give you guys that first look of the actual build by opening up our flaps. And we have a fairly packed box. We might have a secondary box in here. Let's find out by doing our pour. There we are. So, surprise, surprise, there is no secondary box. It is all here. And I see some paper bags in plastic bags. That is very interesting to see. So maybe we're starting to actually transition into paper. That's why we have our envelopes in paper. But anyway, here's our bags. Here's our books. We have some plates and we have some more plates just thrown about. So if I had to guess, in total, there's going to be about 24 bags. So let's go ahead, let's count them out, and then let's get into our books. Okay, let's bring it in. We have 4 stacks of 5. 4 times 5 equals 20. I can do math. And we have 3 bags left, which is 21, 22, and 23, which ironically looks to be of all of our tree pieces and our optional tree colors. So I think I said 24 bags total. 23 is actually the number. Now, out of all of the plates, we do have 3 what looks to be 6 by 16 plates, 2 in a light bluish gray and 1 in a tan. So that's the only loose floating parts. Kind of felt like there would probably be more, but it looks like everything is contained in the bags except for this. Speaking of bags, we have a paper bag with our book. Let's go ahead, let's just do our rip open. And we only have 1 book. Now let's give it a look for stickers, which I don't think we're gonna have any. Nope, no stickers. And then we are here with our book. Now, this being an 18 and older Lego architecture set, I'm hoping there is some stuff at the beginning of the book about the Neuschwanstein castle, which I can see here. Man, that is a stunning, stunning castle. I've always wanted to travel to Europe and look at an actual castle. Will I ever be able to? I don't know if I can even buy a house at this point in the American economy. Plus, with my own personal bad decisions. Watch my videos, please, and I will promise I'll do a tour on a castle one day when we make it all together. Okay, let's continue with our information, and then we go into another set of pages of information that explains the certain parts of the castle you can see from the outside and what those parts are. And then we have 2 more pages of information kind of doing the same thing. Looks like there might be some Easter eggs inside of the castle, which we'll learn all about, which is cool because that means the book is educating my dumb butt on the Neuschwanstein castle, which needs to be done for a successful YouTube video from me. And then we have 2 more pictures. One that looks like it may be kind of snowy outside. I see some snow on the ground. Just looks really pretty with some more information. And then by page of 12, or actually 13, we get into the actual build of the set with our first bag. Now let's roll on over to the back of the book, and on page 354, we got a completed look of the actual castle. But we go over to page 353, and we can see swapping those trees out. And then on page 352, we get our last step, which is 620, and that's building 8 of those little tree elements. So we have 352 pages, 620 steps. That is not a lot of steps for 3,000 pieces. So I'm kind of wondering how much repetition is going to be in this kit. And it does look like Here at the very end, there is information about why we have this color of tree, which leads me to hope that we have information about the castle along the way of building. And guys, that does it for the introduction of the Neuschwanstein Castle. Now, like I've said, have a lot of work to do. Maybe if I would have done this yesterday, I would have given myself some time over the weekend to actually build this and get a head start. But no, I'm filming this at the end of my day, the day before I have to go back to work, and that's when it gets difficult to find time to build once I'm off work. And have I mentioned, I only have 2 weeks to complete this, gizmo, and a bouquet of pink roses. I am screwed. Oh wait, I also have the Hogwarts book nook too to give to her. Shoot, I am in trouble, guys. Well, that means I better get to work, and for you guys, here's the review right now. Okay, let's get into our review of the now fully built Neuschwanstein Castle. And to start off, we're just going to kind of swirl around here. We're going to take a look at the rocks, the sides, just a general glance. This is kind of how you would see the set if you weren't really looking at it, and just it looks so good just from that initial just swinging by and just seeing it. And honestly, that's why we're kind of here, is just because the general nature of this set just looks so dang good. Some people, they say they don't like the color of the rocks. Some people say they don't like the texture of the windows. But you know what? To hell with it. I think it looks marvelous. Now, let's get in a little bit closer. And like I usually like to do, we're going to start from the back. So the entire set is based with this black architecture style base. That's 100% normal. But this whole castle is all about pretty much being in solitude. The King Ludwig, the one that this castle was built for, he didn't really want to be around people. And so he built this kind of like on a cliff top. And that's why we have this style of base with these 3 colors of rock. Now, is it accurate to what it actually is? No. But does it work? Yes. Does it look great? Yes. On top of the rocks, we do have 2 styles of trees, round trees and pine trees. Now you can have either the fall colors or the spring colors with the trees. I chose to do both, for green, for fall, and I think it looks perfect, and it gives it a little bit of a pop of color because the color tone of the dark tan and the dark gray with that sand green kind of can be a little muted. So to have, multiple shades of color kind of popping through on the cliffside, I think it works out pretty well. Coming over here to the base, we can see we have our first printed element, which is the Neuschwanstein Castle emblem. And just coming around here, it just looks really nice. Over here, we can see we have a walking path that does come all the way up to the front gate, which is right over here. So that tells me that if you were to visit this castle, you probably have an upward hill hike or drive. And in the Lego version, starts down here and slowly works its way up. This is done with quite a few types of techniques, including a hinge technique. If you look down there, you can see that. Looks really good. Now, coming back to the back, and let's start going over the architecture just on the back. Back here, we have some tan sticking out, and that is done really nice. Then we have all of our windows, and we can see our first bit of our printed elements, something like 230 to 40 elements to do all of these. Now, I will say these little windows are very tedious to do because you do have to put them on a snot type brick, and then you have to get the brick straight in there, the tile straight, and you just find yourself backtracking a lot to keep these things straight. Now, another really cool thing about this castle, and I'm kind of bouncing all over here, is it is not parallel at all. It's all over the place. And I guess a part of that is because Ludwig kept telling the designers of the castle different things, and they kept changing it up along the way, and we can see that transferred over here to the Lego model. Finishing up with the back part of the building here, we can see our roof, it's black. I guess on the actual version it's supposed to be more blue. We have forks for like chimney elements, we have these little spire elements, and a micro minifigure for a little ornament up there. And then we have the snot bricks on their side to add possibly more windows or whatever that would be in the actual castle. Our weakest point of the castle would be this spire right here on the side. It's just kind of hanging out there. And also, this spire here is a little janky as well. But the rest of the castle is built extremely well. Now let's take a look on this side of the castle. This is a very grand side of the castle. And when I say grand, I mean grand full of freaking windows. You can see all those pieces put to work there. It is not a very easy process, as I said, because you just got to sit there and line it up. And just filming this part of the video, I can see that some of these still don't look perfectly level. Besides the ones that you have to put together, we do have 1x2 brick with its own windows. Those have about 3, and you can see those all over. And then we have these 2x2 elements with, I think, about 2 or 3 different window styles. We have them with the 1. We also have them over here with the 3, as you can see there. Then I think over here in the front with the tan, you have them where they're more spaced out with the windows. So definitely a lot of different prints with this set, but at least we didn't have to do all these windows and stickers. Oh my, that would look bad, and that would be hella difficult. Continuing down the side here, we can see maybe another little entryway or a drainage point in the architecture of the base right there, and more windows and all of that stuff. I really like how everything is angled and done really well with the angling. It's done in so many different techniques, and it's really ingenious how they did all of this, because if you look, that's an angle, that's flat, then that's angled, and then this is pretty much flat, and it's just amazing. I guess coming over here into the courtyard, we can see we have more windows of the main castle. We have these genius use of these elements to represent stairs, more windows and all of that. But this white outline here, I guess that is supposed to be an unbuilt part of the castle that's just left there, with more stairs that goes down into the courtyard, which has more windows and goes into that front gate that we saw in the beginning. And with the front gate, this is done in a red color, so that's nice because, well, we have the windows in red, white, and tan. So then continuing over onto this side, we don't have a huge wall and all of that. We have this nice spire, which is nice and firm. We have the wall, and then we also have this side here, which is his own style with the spire kind of built into it, which is really nice. More windows. Coming over here, this is a nice flat side. We do have a little bit of a waterfall or water feature in the actual castle, and I'll show more of that here in a second. And then we get to that spire, which was the last thing you actually build, and it just clips in with one little place. And then we're back here to the back. Coming back up here, we got more forks for chimney elements, more of that snot technique with those brown holes, and another micro minifigure up there. Now coming back here, a lot of people are afraid to do this in their review video. I'm not afraid. It's easy just to pop this apart and get a look. We might have to remove a tree or so. There we go. But you can easily break this off. After removing your trees, you will have to probably pull out your spire, which is easily done, just like that. And there you guys can get a look at how that spire is built. And then we also have a huge gap that covers up, but then that just comes right off. Looking inside, we don't have anything here at the bottom. It is empty like the majority of the set, but we do have what I believe is the unfinished throne room for the king. I guess they were making it, but they never finished the altar. Not quite sure, but there is some pearlescent gold in there to show some luxurious living. And this also gives you a look at how this set is built from the inside. Now, another interior feature that I'm not going to tear too much into. What you can see is what you can see, and what you can't, well, it is what it is, guys. Again, another hollow cavity in this set, but I guess the water feature has a swan, and you can see that in there, and that uses your other interior technique. Speaking of techniques, if you guys come down into here, you guys can see this angled platform, how it's just kind of thrown in here. Let's see if we can pull this up just like that. And you guys can see how they did this with just putting a piece across here with a snot on top tile right there. And it just all pops in really easy. And that allows us to put our piece in just like that. And then we come back in with our spire. And the spire is held in with that yellow pin. And that pops in then we can put our trees back. So not too sure why people were making a big deal about not being able to show the interior of the set when it's just a few pieces to take apart. There ain't no shame about it. Speaking of looking into the set, looking at the bottom of the set, you guys can see it is really hollow. On the bottom, there's really nothing in it. It's mostly just everything around and built on top. And I really don't have too much more to say about this lovely castle. Unfortunately, the King Ludwig, he had some issues with being a king because he was not too social. They tried to deem him insane. There was a homicide, possible suicide, of why he didn't live to see this ever done, and it is such a shame because it is a beautiful castle, and I'm pretty sure he would have loved it. But that does it on my review. Now let's come out and let's wrap up this video. Okay, guys, let's wrap up this video of this architecture set. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, let me just explain this to you guys really quick. This is not my thing. I've never been a real big fan of Lego architecture. It's one of those kind of things, like I said in the review segment, if you're walking by, this is what you see. This is what makes you stop and go, ooh and ah. And that's kind of my relationship with architecture. It's something that I like to look at, but it's not something that I like to collect. With architecture like this, it just looks so dang good. All of the one-by-one elements that go into this, all 3,000 and some change, just make it look marvelous and beautiful. And I'm pretty sure that's why my mom wanted this set so bad. And in case you guys are somehow didn't catch the beginning of the video, this is a set that my mom purchased for me to build for her for Christmas. So that's how we got here. Just a little bit of a refresh there. I am very happy to have built this set because, like I've said before, it does include my mom in on the Lego channel, the Lego hobby. That's a really positive thing. Anytime I can include anybody that I love or care about in Lego, I just want to do it in the best way possible. It's all about supporting and yet getting people to kind of have a taste and enjoy what you enjoy doing. And that's why I keep subjecting myself to Lego architectures, because that's what my mom really loves. And if she wants me to keep building them for her, then she can keep buying them, sending them my way, and I will gladly do it, because I just want her to experience the joy of Lego. Even if it is just displaying the set and me building it, it still works. So with me not liking architecture and building it and all the one-by-one pieces, how was building another 3,000 some odd change piece set with all of these one-by-one elements? And in some cases there's 2x2 elements, and that's about as big as it gets. There might be a couple 2x4 bricks or 2x3 bricks thrown in there, but let's just face it, it's small ass brick that makes this beautiful model. And how was that? Because I've said it before, it gets tedious, it gets on my nerves, and that's why I don't really like to do it. But I love the way it looks when you're done. Just, I wish I wasn't the person that had to make it look like this. Well, I want to tell you guys, for $280, this is actually a really good model. I have built this set after working a full day at my job, coming home, and then diving in a couple hours every night on this. My goal was to do 6 bags for 4 nights in a row and get the video out by the 4th. I think I'm going to make that goal, which is awesome. And it wasn't a stress to do those 6 bags. Now, last night, I did kind of have some sleep deprivation because of some personal things with a migraine, and it was kind of hard to get through those 6 bags. But even with 4 hours of sleep, a full work day, coming home and doing 6 bags, and doing all the window alignments and all of that, it still was pretty fun and pretty okay. That's just the thing with these sets that does get you guys, is you guys can go ahead, slam it all in, get it all done, but those one-by-one elements are going to bite you in the ass. If you guys want your model to look right, you guys need to do these kind of models slowly over time. I still think 4 days was crunching it a little bit. I do see some imperfections. I'm going to take it because I don't think my mom's vision is good enough to notice those imperfections. So I'm just going to roll with it. Just be noted, if you do this set, you're going to want to try to get those windows dead straight on those snot bricks. And then you're going to have to get the snot bricks themselves dead straight on the corner or in the middle or whatever they're going on. And then the 1x1 element that goes next door to them, which is another brick, you're going to want to get that straight too. You can't have them all twisted up and goobly gooked. It's tough. So it is a fun model. I do think it is very well for the money. Maybe not Notre Dame well. The Notre Dame set was a bigger set for less money, but that also didn't have 230, 40 printed pieces. I think it's fine, and I think the building experience was a good one. And with that, guys, I really do not have too much more to say. If you guys are on the fence about it, and you're looking as an entryway into architecture, there really isn't a right answer, but this is a good answer right here for a first Lego architecture set. Even doing all of the trees with the 6 buds per stem times 3, which is these things I'm talking about, it wasn't bad. And if I can come off of a very long day at work, build it, and say it wasn't bad, then that's saying something. Be sure to check it out if you guys want to get your foot into architecture, or if you guys want to build the newest architecture set, but you're not too sure. You're not going to go wrong with this. Also, great holiday gift idea for the month of December. With that, guys, that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider the subscribe button to follow along with everything that we do here. As usual, share the video with a friend, hit the thumbs up, the like button, and most importantly, drop your comments down below. What do you guys think of the Neuschwanstein castle? I just think it's lovely from all angles, maybe this angle the most. Just drop your comments down below. Love to interact with you guys. Up next on the channel, not quite sure. We are doing a holiday build-off because everything that I have left in my inventory has to go to my mom in a couple weeks when she comes to visit for Christmas. So, yeah, we got videos more frequently than we did last month. So be sure to stay tuned for the next video. It's either going to be roses, a gremlin, or a book nook from Hogwarts. So be sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. You all have a good one.